learning what the track will give. This team, Victory Motorsports, actually tested here on Monday, much warmer conditions. That adds another factor. These, however, are my keys to the race car. Rhythm ride early, as Dave just touched upon. You need to get in a groove here, not wear the tires off. Also, we may see Kristian Equis make a pass, but I think it's going to be underneath. Turning under to pass, especially after turn number 2, is the setup position, so the car will be handled well at all times. And what we've seen historically, with the one exception, last 5 races, last time on pit road, 40 laps to go. So you don't want to lose that track position late in the going unless you've got all 4 tires to put on late.
And here's what's interesting. In talking to some of the crew chiefs up and down pit road, Jim, a lot of people say if it rained out yesterday, which it did, that may make strategy and pit strategy more important today because this is that green racetrack. So whether you take 4 tires early or 2 could have a huge, profound effect in determining who's going to go to victory lane today.
You want one more factor, Bob?
Sure, I love it.
How many cars will be on lead lap when and if we get our first caution? We have a long period of green flag. I think it's going to be that long for a bit while here. We may have to see a green flag pit stops, and by rule, not that we want it, but they must make a pit stop before 10 laps remaining in the race by rule book. So we have seen guys stretch it. We know there's enough fuel in these 22-gallon cells to go the distance. They got to come to pit road.
Ty Gibbs currently running in the 3rd spot. The 16-year-old, the focus of our Bounty Rookie Spotlight. Of course, he's from North Carolina, and he is the grandson of Joe Gibbs, one of 4 children. But I think the interesting thing is he has some rituals in terms of what he eats. Before Salem, he went to Olive Garden, drove 35 miles to get a salad at Olive Garden. But he said, you know what? I didn't finish as well as I wanted to at Salem. He had a top 10 run, but not as good as he had wanted to. So he changed it up here at Nashville. He went to barbecue a couple of nights ago. And this morning, his pre-race ritual brought him to Waffle House. And we saw him there this morning.
He's running 3rd right now, Bob. And what I like about him on the track, in addition to his eating habits and rituals, how fast he is, how he's adapted so well to this car. Last year, this young man did not race in an ARCA Menards Series event, but he did test a short track car built by Joe Gibbs Racing. This was the first track they tested at. With this car, a lot of work has been done. And you know what? I really enjoyed watching him race and pass Kristian Equis on the last lap at Five Flag Speedway to get 2nd position. He's never satisfied unless he's in victory lane.
And just because Ty Gibbs is a little bit back from this pair that we're looking at, Chandler Smith and Kristian Equis, don't count him out. What we've seen out of Ty Gibbs is that young kid gets stronger and stronger as the race progresses. So it'll be interesting to see what that Monster Energy number 18 can do and whether he can track down the Craftsman number 20 of Chandler Smith, who is leading the field here early in the Music City 200. Going to be approaching 20 laps complete early in this race, and Smith would love to pick the guitar in victory lane today.
This Fairgrounds, Bob, the winners list is impressive. The guitar has been the tradition, but also that season-ending All-American 400 for decades has brought all the best racers here. We're seeing a great display of the young talents moving forward to want to race on Sundays. Come soon.
Chandler Smith, we're going to see him in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports this year in the big leagues of NASCAR. But he has certainly made his mark here. He's won a bunch of General Tire Pole Awards and 2 victories in his career here in ARCA. Chandler Smith leads at Nashville.
Back in Nashville at the General Tire 200, Music City 200, where Chandler Smith continues to lead Kristian Equis. Guys that are going to compete along with a bunch of racers today for that win. But for Erik Caudell out of Piedmont, Oklahoma, this is a driver in the 2 car just happy to even be here racing today. Got the benefit of that rain out. This is one of the brake rotors that sits underneath the car. This one fitting on the front right. Well, when this team got back from practice and qualifying yesterday, crew chief Jeremy Petty noticed this very large crack running down inside the rotor, creeping on inside. Now, if they would not have discovered this is a racetrack that uses a lot of brake pressure. These brakes get very hot, and that crack grew even bigger. This rotor could explode, puncture the front right tire, send the car into the wall. Who knows what happens? But they were able to find a replacement for that in the overnight, and at least Erik Caudell out of Oklahoma is able to compete today.
Erik Caudell making his 2nd start of the season in the ARCA Menards Series, currently running in 15th, but struggling a little bit on the racetrack.
That's a big deal. That team was looking hard to get that brake rotor and great report day because it is everything important with this team. Jeremy Petty raced this car with Wayne Hickson. Erik Caudell now working with Wayne on racing and fielding this car out of his own shop in Oklahoma. And Jeremy's doing things with that machine in his shop in Kansas as well.
Venturini Motorsports looking very strong this year. They have won 2 of the first 4 races of the year. 4 different winners in the first 4 races of the ARCA Menards Series Season 2. That shows you that, I tell you what, there's a lot of talent in this series, and this is a great place to put your name in the spotlight before you head to the upper echelons of NASCAR. Right now, we have a battle brewing for the 3rd spot. Here comes the point leader, Michael Self, in that Sinclair machine, pulling up to that Monster Energy number 18 of Ty Gibbs.
Michael Self has had 2 victories already this season, and it wasn't at Daytona, it was not at Talladega, it was at the 2 short tracks. He won his first 2 short track races in succession here at Five Flags Speedway and at Salem to get him that point lead. Great run by Michael Self. He and his crew chief Shannon Rush are clicking right now, and they are really excited that this car is almost as good as the car they won with at Salem. They're looking forward to getting things right. Geometry wasn't right on Monday. They went back to the shop after testing here, put a lot of work in that race car to get the car where Michael likes it. They weren't so happy on Monday, but they had that chance to do that because, you know what? That 30-minute practice session wasn't a lot of time for these teams yesterday. That's all the track time they got prior to the green flag today.
28 years old, out of Utah, is Michael Self, leading the point standings in the ARCA Menards Series coming into this event. You mentioned those 2 victories came on the unlikeliest of places if you talk to Michael Self on the short tracks as part of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. But let's take a look at the overall point standings coming into this race. Michael Self leading by just 5 markers over Travis Brayton. Brent Holmes, Joe Graham Jr. right in the thick of things as well for the title.
And Michael Self had a 31st place finish at Daytona. So for him to do that with those 2 victories and a 5th place finish at Talladega, that got him 2 positions ahead of Travis Brayton in the running order at Talladega. That's 10 points, 5 points per position. He got him the point leader. Brent Holmes, don't count him out. This is one of his best tracks. So he may gain a lot of points here today in that number 23 as he sits 3rd currently in the overall points.
Michael told me that 5th place run at Talladega was like a sigh of relief for him after what happened at Daytona and that 31st place run. So they believe they overcame a hurdle. Now on board with the Fast Kids Club machine, the number 27 of Travis Brayton, currently running 7th on the racetrack. Travis is a 2-time ARCA CRA Super Series Super League model champion and is really trying to hone in this team and get their setup corrected for the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge.
And you'd think he'd have a ton of laps here at Nashville because he's a West Virginia native, but really his interest and his early days moved him northward. Columbus Motor Speedway in Ohio, flat tracks in Michigan. That's where he cut his teeth before coming here to the ARCA Menards Series. So believe it or not, he's not run a ton of laps here at Nashville Speedway. Last year's ARCA race was his first one here at these fairgrounds in the number 27.
Rory Heim and the Chad Bryant, number 22, gets the spot on Travis Brayton, so move Heim up to the 7th spot. Heim has 2 top 5 finishes in his first 2 ARCA Menards Series starts. Let's see if he can continue that trend here today. Ferocious battle starting to heat up here. 40 laps complete of 200 here in Nashville. Welcome back to the ARCA Menards Series at the Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville. The General Tire Music City 200 under caution for the first time here today.
Yeah, Mike Basham making his 62nd career start. First of the season for Andy Hillenberg. Had a right rear tire go down. Didn't know if there was any fluid on the track, so they brought out the caution to inspect. Here come the leaders.
Early pit stop here. Chandler Smith pulls his Craftsman number 20 to the attention of his Venturini Motorsports crew. Great shot right there with the 3 box on our screen. Kristian Equis in the JBL.com number 15 gets out first, possibly here. A very good pit stop for him. He battles his teammate, the number 25 of Michael Self, but he does not get out ahead of Chandler Smith. There is Ty Gibbs. Looks like he might have lost a spot or 2 on pit road with that Joe Gibbs team.
Great pit work here, and think about this. These teams are all jacked up. They're here yesterday waiting through the rain. Are we going to race today or not? Well, these pit crews had to wait as well. They knocked the rust off real quick there. Better work by Michael Self picking up spots on pit road.
We'll sort things out here at Nashville when we come back. Joe Graham hoping to move up through the field here today. Third round of the Sioux Chiefs Short Track Challenge today here in Nashville. The opening 2 rounds won by Michael Self. And now this series is 11 races strong as part of the overall ARCA Menards series.
I love the fact we go to some great short tracks, the best in America if you ask me, and the dirt tracks on the Fairgrounds in Illinois, back-to-back Springfield and DuQuoin, and we're heading back to Salem, the only track we run twice other than Pocono in the Big Tricky Triangle.
Lucas Oil Raceway in October concludes the Sioux Chiefs Short Track Challenge season. Currently, these guys battling for a little bit of prize money and the honor of being a champion within a championship season in ARCA. About ready to go green flag racing once again. The 22 team for Chad Bryant Racing with Corey Heim did not pit. They are the leader on this restart. Look at how tight quartered racing there is on the restart. We're riding on board with Travis Brayton, almost 3 wide right there. Michael Self, the point leader in that green and white 25, almost in a predicament down there in turns 3 and 4.
And on that restart, Bob, A+ for Chandler Smith in his restart. He started on the bottom underneath that car with older tires, got the position in turn number 2 and pulled them. I would say he's doing more than just talking to Kyle Busch. He's studying film on how he does restarts so well for that young man.
And now Corey Heim in that 22 that did not pit. Tires are important here. Kind of jamming up the field a little bit. Carson Hocevar dove to the inside of him right in front of Travis Brayton to get back inside, and now it's a freight train right to the bottom of the 22. He's going to lose a bunch of spots after that gamble.
Yeah, 11 cars on lead lap did pit. Corey Heim did not. The last of those is the 46 of Brett Moffitt. We'll see if he can get in before Moffitt puts him another position down.
So an interesting gamble by Corey Heim. The teenager contact there with his teammate Joe Graff Jr. Graff goes to the inside, will get another spot, but let's find out why they made that move. How about it, Dave Reid?
You guys elect to stay out.
Well, I thought it was a little early to put so many tires. I really thought there'd be a few people that would come in, but I didn't think everybody would. But, you know, it's just a gamble you take. You don't really know what's going to happen.
Next question is how long do you plan on staying out now, and how does it change the strategy?
Well, actually, if we don't get a lap down on this run here, it's going to help us. We'll have extra tires, and we'll be able to, it'll be an advantage.
That's Paul Andrews. He has a lot of success. I even asked him, how many trophies do you have from winning cup races? He said, I don't know. So when do you think you were here for the first time in Nashville? He said, late 70s with Rusty Wallace. I couldn't tell you the year, but it's been a ton of races here. So that knowledge being put to work with a young man who's making just his second ever race here at Nashville. The North-South 100 last year was his only time here in a Super Late for Corey Heim.
And Paul Andrews, so famous around the NASCAR ranks, coming over here to ARCA. Of course, he was part of that championship team back in 1992 with the late Alan Kawicki. And now he said, I'm at home here at ARCA, really enjoying himself with that Chad Bryant Racing team.
The Cunningham Motorsports really had a great pedigree that Chad now took ownership of at the beginning of this year. How they worked through it, let's keep everything the same. Let's keep the same guys. Let's do this, and let's be competitive as much as we can. And you know what? That 22 car today, brand new chassis out of the Chad Bryant Racing shop. So they are very excited about how they're progressing here, not just staying with what they have, but evolving as a very tight-knit group that has 40 wins with Cunningham and looking for the first this year under Chad Bryant Racing as well.
Eck is pushing things a little bit further back in the field now. You see the number 23 of Brent Holmes. Holmes looking for that big first ARCA win, and he's had success here at this racetrack. He's currently in 6th.
What I like about what he's done is he's come in here with confidence, Bob. He had said to me, for some reason when I get to Nashville, I feel good. It's one of my better racetracks. I know that Shane Huffman, my crew chief's got a good race car for me. They tested actually last week at Toledo Speedway, where we're racing our next Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge race. He said that'll help at Toledo and here at Nashville.
Brent Holmes, 2 top 10 finishes in 3 races here in ARCA Menards Series competition. Hot on his tails right now is the teenager Carson Hocevar, just 16 years old, the driver of that number 28, battling in the Sioux Chief Rookie Challenge, Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge this year here in this series. And he had a great run at Salem with a podium finish, had some trouble at Pensacola in his first race of the year.
When it comes to developing talent here, making things right, this young driver we're talking about is 25-year-old Travis Brayton. We're on board with the number 27 Matrix Care Ford. This team also put together a brand new car to debut here at Nashville Speedway. They were so stoked they came and tested They were trying to say everything we worked towards to get Travis what he needs, we now have implemented in this car at Nashville.
And this is his short track career here in the ARCA Menards series. He's got that big win in his first start at Lucas Oil Raceway back in 2015. Set the ARCA world on its end, honestly, and surprised everybody with that big victory.
He's so active still in super late model racing. He's won the Winchester 400 rifle to give away there. Yet to win a guitar here, but he is very active in super late model racing to this day. He ran during Speed Weeks at New Smyrna Speedway. He's got a chance to run some CRA races and defend what would be a legacy in that series as a two-time champ. Great to see him here in this series full time.
What a smart kid he is as well. When I talk to him, I'm almost like, oh no, I'm talking to a really smart guy here. I'm not that smart. He was a major in aerospace and mechanical engineering in West Virginia University, graduated with those degrees. The kid is just flat out smart. Great personality, a lot of talent behind the wheel. I love to see him continue to climb the ladder in racing because he's got the entire package.
And I believe he has a crew chief in Dan Glaus that may have a guitar or two in his collection with Tim Steele and other racers that have raced here at Nashville. There's Dan on the pit box, and it's great to see how much work they put in. They never stop working. There's 3 guys in the shop. They've got a great crew on the road, and neat to see Dan Glaus again back in the ARCA Racing Series where he won so many races with Tim Steele, a 3-time series champion.
Yeah, part of those championship teams back in the day was Dan, and that was a force to be reckoned with. He and Frank Kimmel really battled back and forth for so many years here in the ARCA Menards series. But Brayton right now, currently running in that 8th spot. You can tell that car not wanting to turn in the middle of the corner.
Still an experiment working. We went on a 30-minute practice session yesterday. So after that test they did here, they want to probably accomplish 2 or 3 or 4 more things on their list, but it was cut short. That 30-minute practice session, Bob, I can't stress enough. It was a practice session, but your fastest speed in that session also set our lineup so that you needed to put fresh tires on and make a qualifying run in those 30 minutes. Not a lot of time to do a whole lot of adjustments in that very short window yesterday afternoon before the rains came.
We talked about Chandler Smith at the top of the show. At Salem, he missed the event because he was in the hospital. He became ill the night before and could not start the event. Harrison Burton started the ride in the number 15, so Equis did not get the points, but right now Equis running in second. Here's a battle on the racetrack. 5th place, Caden Honeycutt, the kid out of the Lone Star State of Texas, having another good run here in the ARCA Menards series, but he's being hounded by Carson Hocevar.
I love the fact we're watching what could be youngsters that are looking at where do I need to go for my next opportunity. Caden Honeycutt, under the direction of Chris Buescher, has said, you need to go run ARCA. Buescher won an ARCA championship before, a NASCAR Xfinity Series championship. He has his eye on this young man. He's on the same path as David Reagan, Chris Buescher, working towards a full-time ride on Sundays, as well as David Reagan, all under that tutelage in Texas with Michael Harper and others. Caden Honeycutt's right on that flow in that 38 machine, getting some real good experience here.
Caden Honeycutt running that car hard here, but it's been all Chandler Smith in this one so far. 72 laps complete. Under caution here at Fairgrounds Speedway, Nashville for the ARCA Menards series, and a developing situation. We have been told that Tommy Vi with this number 10 car made some contact with the point leader, Michael Self, up in the corner to bring out this caution. Brent Holmes on pit road in that 23 machine. Here's what happened of what we had, and this is right after the contact between Tommy Vi as well as Michael Self. But Jim Trado, you can see all sorts of damage to the front end of that machine, and that's why Brent Holmes was on pit road. He made some contact with the Sinclair 25 as well.
Unfortunately, one of those incidents where you can't react quick enough, and what Michael Self ended up doing was hitting the wall with great impact and then sliding down the banking in turn number 2, dropping on their team communication thanks to Racing Electronics. They may indeed want to get that car back out. Every point counts. Self may not be done just yet, even with that extensive damage.
Yet frustration from Michael Self, the point leader by just 5 markers over Travis Brayton. Here is Michael Self saying to Tommy Vi, in his opinion, use your head, buddy. Michael Self definitely devastated here today.
Short track emotion, running top 5, gained a spot or 2 on pit road during their first and only pit stop, and now they're going to hopefully get that car back righted. But Michael Self's going to be way down in the order, trying to climb his way back up, as he did on the run to Daytona for finishing 31st and rebounding to grab that point lead.
the Fast Kids Club onboard camera for Joe Graff Jr. He was one of a few cars that came down pit road during this caution period. Joe Graff solidly in the top 10 in the 7th spot, one of the championship contenders, and he's had a decent season, but Joe Graff Jr. wants to get back to victory lane like he did at Berlin Raceway in Michigan last year. He came so close at Talladega last year, lost by just a whisper. Joe Graff Jr. For Chad Bryant Racing in the 77 machine. Chandler Smith still being scored the leader. Here is that 77 car. And he's also has some interesting stuff going on with EatSleepRace.com. After Daytona earlier this year, a plastic bag got on his grill, and he had some overheating issues. Well, he had an interesting contest online, 35,000 entries, and they had one winner that got $1,000 in a recycled bag. Here's Michael Self's machine as the Venturini Motorsports team looks at the front end of that car. Like Jim alluded to, if they're able to get it fixed, if they're able to get back out on the racetrack, they can get some valuable points if other people fall out of the race. And that's what they're determining right now here as that car is in the center of the infield at Fairgrounds Speedway, Nashville. Look at the damage to the right front of that machine. He will come out of here and most likely lose the point lead. Let's go down to Dave Reif.
I am not a crew chief, but Shannon Rush is the crew chief on this effort. Obviously here to survey the damage. You know it's pretty much terminal. What is wrong with this car after that big contact?
Nah, the right front suspension's killed on it, you know. It's just a shame because it was unnecessary. You know, you're racing around lap guys and get a younger kid in front of you that's not really patient enough. It's way too early to be wrecking lap cars for no reason. So, I don't know, hopefully ARCA does something about it, but we're done. So.
Shannon talking about a younger kid. Tommy Bai is not a younger gentleman. He's middle-aged like we are, so there might have been even more contact with Michael Self from another one of the cars on the racetrack. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing here at the Fairgrounds Speedway, Nashville. It's Chandler Smith and Kristian Equis, the top two. Look at Equis, Jim, with a great run. Chandler Smith goes way up the racetrack. It's Kristian Equis goes to the lead.
This is time to make position, make something happen. At this moment in the race, Brayton actually has a better run off of this corner. The outside line looks to be an advantage right now for that white Ford coming off of turn 4.
Oh, contact there with the Matrix Care car of Travis Brayton. Brayton was running right around Brent Holmes and Joe Graff Jr., but look at the battle for second now. Ty Gibbs taking a peek to the inside of Chandler Smith.
There's a dip inside turn number 2. That upset the car for the 18 of Ty Gibbs, just enough for Chandler to power around him and cake over that second spot. It's a bump in the bottom of turn number 2. Ty Gibbs couldn't avoid it, had to hold the car down to not wash up the racetrack. Give P2 to the 20 Craftsman Toyota of Chandler Smith.
Start knocking on the door because look at who is in the 4th spot now. 16-year-old kid out of Michigan, Carson Hocevar, not even old enough to have his complete license yet. He just has a permit, but the 28 of Carson Hocevar starting to catch the top 3 in this field.
He's got a countdown until June when he can actually get his driver's license. Finally.
He said he's going to take the test this week, and then he has to wait like 180 days to be able to get the official license. So Carson Hocevar making a name for himself in super late model racing and pro late model racing before moving to the ARCA Menards series this year. This kid, though, has a name. Ty Gibbs. Famous around the NFL, famous around the NASCAR ranks. Of course, his granddad, a winner of the Daytona 500 with his NASCAR team, a championship team at that. They do a great job in the NASCAR ranks. But this kid, we've been watching him in the late model stock car realm over the course of the last couple of seasons. He won a race earlier this year, now looking good here in ARCA. Joe Graff Jr. in the EatSleepRace.com machine, trying to fend off the 23 of Brent Holmes.
These 3 cars pitted valve under the last caution. I didn't know why Brent Holmes would come back in, but he did. Look at that left side damage. He was also caught up in that spin involving Michael Self. The 77 and the black number 22 teammates for Chad Bryant Racing. They came to pit road. That's the second stop for Graff, and the 22 finally got those right side tires. No tire changes that I saw on Joe Graff's number 77 or the 23. They just worked on damage, topping off some fuel, getting those cars back on the racetrack.
Corey Heim with only one prior start here at this racetrack. in Nashville in a super late model race last year. Joe Graf Jr. in his short track career, we mentioned that big win at Berlin. A little controversy there. There was some bumping and banging with Chandler Smith to get the victory. 4 top 5 finishes overall.
Boy, he's on a path. His first race in ARCA was last year here at this race with a broken foot, finished 16th. Now, as of Talladega, he said, I'm going Xfinity Series racing. I'm an intern. He's an intern right now at Richard Joe's Racing Shops. He gets to sit in the driver debrief meetings. He's in with the marketing communications team. Talk about getting the acceleration curve going for him moving forward. A handful of NASCAR Xfinity Series starts on the docket for the second-year ARCA Menards Series racer Joe Graf this year.
That first start will come in June at Michigan International Speedway on that 2-mile racetrack. So you can see, hone your skills here in the ARCA Menards Series and move on to the upper echelons of NASCAR.
It'll be a double-dip weekend for Joe. ARCA Menards Series there on Saturday. Xfinity Series, on Friday. Xfinity Series race on Saturday.
These are teammates, believe it or not. A little bumping and banging going on between the 2 cars on the Chad Bryant stable. Corey Heim saying, I have a better car right now. Let me give you a little bit of a nudge. And for a young teenager like Corey Heim, that was a veteran move there, not to really get into him, but just nudge him so he can get up underneath.
That's the definition that I was thinking about turning under. It's called nudge and go under on that one for Corey Heim. Great short track move for this gentleman who's got 20 or so super late model races yet on his calendar this year, and late models as well. A lot of track time for this young man in Paul Andrews directed number 22.
Move Heim up to 6th place. Michael Self currently out of the race after major contact up in turns 1 and 2. Dave Reif is standing by.
Well, you want to talk about a roller coaster of emotions. This is a man that's gone through it from the Daytona disappointment, bouncing back on the short tracks at Pensacola, as well as Salem, and now taking the points lead. And now this. I know there are no words, but what can you say about the incident?
I mean, it's the product of what you're racing around sometimes, man. I mean, young kids, they get impatient, and I've been that way. I've gotten impatient too, but there's no reason for the 18 to turn the 10 like that. I mean, just run him into the corner and turn him. The guy's a laps down. You're going to go by him easily. You know, maybe he didn't race the way you like. Just show some patience. I mean, Ty's a good driver. The 10, he's out there just running laps. Just wish you'd show a little patience because we're the negative recipient of it. You know, they're out there still racing, running third, and we're the points leader. We're definitely not anymore. So you come in here and have a tore-up race car. You know, I hate it for Venturi. For Sinclair, I mean, we had a good car. You know, we were struggling a little bit, but making gains on it. So this sucks. Sucks to rebound from Daytona, win some races, put yourself back in a good position. And now you just got to go climb out of another hole.
Good luck.
Apparently some contact. We got the full story there from Michael Self between Tommy Vai as well as the 18 of Ty Gibbs that related to the incident and that major damage on the 25 of Michael Self.
Self's a full-time driver in this series, running all 20 races, as is Brent Holmes in the number 23 machine. Both of those cars affected here on the short track at Nashville Super Speedway. I say Super Speedway, that's down the road in Lebanon. We're at the Fairgrounds, baby. It's neat to see how they play it out. Unfortunately for them, they've got to climb back, as Michael said, from the points. Brent Holmes is sitting back in that position where he doesn't want to be. He's well down the order at 8th. And, you know, that contact might have hit something askew on the other machines that we're trying to avoid. If you brake hard here, things can happen. Things can break loose and cause a better finish, cause a worse finish.
Kristian Equis continues to lead here, and he is so impressive here in the ARCA Menards Series, going after his 4th career win here in the ARCA Menards Series. Can he get it done? He is motivated today here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. More than halfway into the General Tire Music City 200 for the ARCA Menards Series at the Fairgrounds Speedway, Nashville. And Kristian Equis in that JBL number 15 for Venturini Motorsports continues to lead. Let's show you how he got there with the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap here of this 200-lap affair in the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. Pole sitter, General Tire Pole Award went to Chandler Smith. He led early.
Yeah, hundredths of a second decided who the top 3 starters were on the grid. When it came to racing, the Venturini teammates took off from 1st and 3rd, Chandler Smith in the 20, and Kristian Equis started inside row number 2, stayed right with him.
Some early race cautions here kind of jumbled up the field just a little bit, but at the same time, all the focus was actually on two guys until the round of pit stops here. Chandler Smith and that Venturini Motorsports team lightning quick in their pit stops, but Corey Hyman, the 22, did not pit. He was the leader when they waved the green flag again.
He was on the outside and soon was the outsider looking in. He drifted all the way back to 12th. The number 20 of Chandler Smith took the lead back again.
And that trouble for the point leader, Michael Self. Contact with Tommy Vi. Ty Gibbs involved as well. Brent Holmes got collected up. And Michael Self was not happy at all, pointing to Ty Gibbs on the racetrack. When the green flag came back out, Chandler Smith and his teammate Kristian Equis went at it. Equis gets to the lead by the number 20, a little bump down the backstretch right there. So some interesting moves so far in this race. 3 leaders overall as part of our Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. We've had 2 cautions in this event just past the halfway point.
I think that's a respectful nudge by Chandler saying, you got me on that one. You get the position, but don't forget about me. I'm going to be right in your mirror given the chance.
Ty Gibbs running in third. Michael Self, the Venturini Motorsports team, talked a lot about him. Let's get more on the 18 from Dave Reid.
Well, Ty Gibbs was very much part of that incident that happened just a little bit ago, so much so we got pretty heated on the radio. Imagine being 16, running pressure laps like this, being the grandson of Joe Gibbs. But Mark McFarland, a veteran crew chief, a man a part of the championship winning team last year, quick to get on the box, calm him down, as did the rest of this veteran Joe Gibbs team. And Ty's settled right back into that rhythm you've been talking about, Jim Trino.
Yeah, and Mark has really done a nice job with Ty Gibbs. He had overseen all the great successes at MDM Motorsports last year, worked with young Chase Purdy in a full season effort. Sheldon Creed was under that team's umbrella. They won the championship with Sheldon. He's now in the Truck Series. Ty Gibbs has a mission, and it started with him going to the motocross tracks with his dad, Coy. He was around racing. He's been around racing his entire life, not just in the NASCAR world, but a well-rounded background to get this chance. And now they're testing and putting everything forth for this young man out of the Joe Gibbs Racing shops. That's where the car is housed. See Ty excelling. He's got to perform. Nobody else can drive that car for him. He's doing great.
Kristian Equis leading the field. 3 races here in the ARCA Menards Series, all top 10 finishes. But he wants to make some Nashville magic, is what he told me. He wants to win here. He's eager to get back to victory lane. Had a great season last year on a part-time schedule, battling for the championship before he actually missed the race at Salem, became ill and went to the hospital. Chandler Smith, a part-time competitor, running for the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. We'll see if he can complete that, running all but one of the races here this year in the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge. He currently runs second. Third place, Ty Gibbs, that 16-year-old in the 18.
You mentioned age and experience. This young man is just his third ARCA Menards start this season. Chandler Smith is just his 12th start over 2 seasons. Kristian Equis leading this race was a 15-year-old driver when introduced here to this series. He already has 30 races, Bob, under his belt, and now maturing enough and being the age of 18, he can run every race. It's a great progression that they want to follow. Kristian belongs in this series. He's going to learn a ton as he continues to race select races with Cowbush Motorsports going forward in the Truck Series.
Carson Hocevar making his 4th career ARCA Menards Series start, running in the top 5, so having a very good run. And how about Corey Hyman? After that pit stop, he has rocketed through the field in that Chad Bryant racing machine, is now back up to 5th.
So not only is this a new car, but Paul Andrews, the crew chief, has always told me on these half-mile racetracks, I want to split the race into thirds. I want to get a pit stop maybe around lap 70, maybe another stop around lap 140. I don't know what I'll do with my tire strategy yet. Check the box again. Lap 72, they came down pit road for the first time. Others pitted earlier, so to see him climb back through with those fresh right side general tires, he's doing a masterful job with some really tough competition.
Brent Holmes, the first car outside the top 5, the kid out of the deep south, looking strong here. He's finished in the top 10 on 2 other occasions, but Brent Holmes hoping for more success. Shane Huffman, a veteran wrench and a mastermind, his crew chief here in the ARCA Menards Series this year as he battles for a championship. But right now, Venturini Motorsports has been dominating here. They want the guitar in Nashville today. Time for the final pit stop of the day for those contending for a win here at Nashville, the Fairgrounds track for the ARCA Menards Series. And there you see Kristian Equis, Chandler Smith, Ty Gibbs, Travis Brayton, Carson Hocevar, all on pit road. The 15 comes in as the leader of this race. Will he get out in front of everybody else? It looks like he is going to. Tires being changed down there, and you see Ty Gibbs and that Joe Gibbs Racing team have a good stop this time. He gets out ahead of Chandler Smith, and in second, the 46 of Thad Moffitt with the free pass. Thad comes back to the series, has been struggling a little bit here today. And you can see the low tire pressure on that left front of that car, starting out really low. And usually what happens is, as they get back to green flag racing, the tire pressure will build with the heat that goes through that tire.
Kevin Reid, the crew chief, has done a lot of work in making sure those tire pressures are where he wants to be. Kevin's got a lot of success here in the last couple of years, 3-4 years, with 2 separate teams back under the Venturini camp. He's involved with this number 15 and how those tire pressures will build and how much he expects them to build. With only a 30-minute practice session, his notebook is key in making those calls.
Let's go to Dave Reif.
Let's follow up on what you guys were talking about in that low tire pressure. Talked to Billy Venturini this morning, looking down at his race car. I said, that looks awful low. He says, yeah, that's by design. That, along with the camber, it's designed to get the car into the corner more. And you watch, you see the general tire, the white wall on the side of that tire. Those tire pressures so low that by the time this race is over, you probably will not be able to read the words general tire on the side of that machine. It'll be scrubbed off. Billy Venturini kind of confused why everybody else hasn't figured out maybe what will get him into victory lane today.
We'll find out, Dave. The Geico 411 for this race. We've been racing here for a long time. 1959 was the first time the ARCA Menards Series competed at the Fairgrounds Speedway in Nashville. This is the 29th race in history for ARCA here at this racetrack.
And really, it's been a span on and off. It's not been consecutive years. 1992, David Green won his first and only ARCA race. Yeah, the NASCAR champ, now on pit road as an official for NASCAR. Grant Enfinger won here in 2015. What does he have in common with David Green? A NASCAR ARCA championship, I should say. Grant Enfinger won his 3rd straight win that year on his way to his championship. Josh Williams, Chad Finley, Zane Smith, the most recent handful of winners here. But the winners list and the drivers that have raced here, it's legendary. If you know they're in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, likely they've spent a lot of time in their short track youth growing up here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
The Fast Kids Club onboard camera with the Matrix Care team for Travis Brayton. Brayton will most likely walk out of this race here today with the point lead. Came back 5 points behind Michael Self. Michael crashed. Now, some people talking to me on Twitter a little bit about Michael's situation. Michael Self currently running in 15th out of this race, so he will lose a bunch of spots, but because he finishes around that 15th spot, he won't lose a ton of points to Travis Brayton, but it'll make the championship battle all that more interesting.
The other cars are putting Lexi Gay. She had wall contact early on. She's behind the wall in the number 44 car. Her debut, she got a diploma handed to her as she walked across the stage in her ARCA debut here at Nashville. The 18-year-old skipped high school graduation to be here, so it's great to see. We've got that young, fresh talent. Unfortunately for her, a very short debut in ARCA Menards Series.
The last restart was pretty interesting. We had a lead change. Let's find out what happens here on this one. Kristian Equis able to take that lead again. Ty Gibbs now battling with Carson Hocevar. You expect Carson Hocevar to win some races this year in the ARCA Menards Series, and now battling with Ty Gibbs for second.
He had electrical issues. His team had electrical issues at Talladega with Brandon McReynolds. This team had a fuel pressure issue at Salem Speedway. I believe they are going to be contending on this Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge effort throughout the season. The number 28 cars we're talking about, the GM Parts Pro Chevrolet of this driver's edge development driver, and he's got a lot of eyeballs on him since Johnny Benson Jr. put him in an outlaw late model age 12 at Berlin Raceway. He's had a lot of success as well when he's come over to full-size stock car racing.
That was flat out impressive.
Yeah.
Carson Hocevar on the outside of Chandler Smith, who won the General Tire Pole Award here yesterday. Hocevar up to third. You mentioned that big win in the Outlaw Super Late Models at Berlin Raceway at 12. At 13, he won a race there in a NASCAR-sanctioned race. NASCAR found out about it and said, hey, wait a second, you're too young to be competing in NASCAR. So he couldn't race anymore in that NASCAR Super Late Model at his home racetrack, but he won the championship the next year.
Yeah, great to see him here in the ARCA Menards Series. He's looking forward to every opportunity. He was even on the pit crew at Daytona and Talladega working with this Mike Fursley team as they make their way as a full-time effort potentially for the Owners' Championship here in 2019.
I think this kid has so much talent. Caden Honeycutt, second-generation race car driver out of Texas, currently running in the 7th spot. Modified racer on the dirt in the Lone Star State. And now trying to get up underneath one of the championship contenders, Joe Graff out of New Jersey.
And the 38 machine of Caden Honeycutt, how good is he? We saw him splash on the scene at Salem Speedway last year. Ooh, this kid's got speed. Lately going top 10 run, shortened by an accident at Lucas Oil Raceway last year. And this year, just one start at Five Flag Speedway. He led 10 laps in that race before finishing 9th. So Honeycutt's used to mixing it up in the top 10. It's great to see him perform here. We mentioned youth in this series, that number 38 driver. He doesn't turn 16 until the mid-June of this year.
And how about this kid right here, Connor O'Crescent? He's just 17 years old. He is one that is turning some heads in the super late model ranks. Had a top 10 finish in his debut in the ARCA Menards series when we went to Pensacola, Florida about a month ago or so. And now he's back here. We mentioned Bruce Cook, crew chief here. He's crew chiefing for Connor O'Crescent. This is one of the old Chad Finley cars. Not the one he won with here a couple of years ago, but Bruce Cook was the crew chief for Chad Finley when he did win here at Nashville, and now trying to guide the number 14 of Connor O'Crescent, currently running 9th. Battle for 3rd. Here comes Chandler Smith to the inside of the 28 of Carson Hocevar. Brent Holmes is right there as well. We told you Brent Holmes likes this racetrack.
Veteran short track moves to these teenagers. Think about it. Chandler Smith let Hocevar go. Hocevar really charged him on the outside and got position. Chandler chewed away at the lead, gaining position, I should say, in the mirror. Hocevar, I think, let him go there. Great move by that young man. Don't race side by side. Don't use your stuff up. There's a lot of race left.
And that showed one of your keys to the race. Get that run up underneath and complete the pass coming up off the corner and into the next turn. Chandler Smith was a perfect example of that when he went by the 28.
Great rebound by that red number 23 Holmes 2 Excavation Chevrolet. Brett Holmes, that left side damage, clipping the nose of the number 25 when it suffered its spin in turn number 2. Rebounding there for Holmes. He was actually back half in the top 10 until a pit stop. Made up one position on that pit stop at lap 122, and now he's back in the top 5, hunting down his second top 5 on a short track in the last 2 years.
Great look right here. You see the leader, Kristian Equis, in the 15 on the left side of your screen. We'll look at this battle right here between the East League race machine for Joe Graff Jr. still trying to fend off Caden Honeycutt. Right behind Honeycutt is Corey Heim. So right now Honeycutt finds himself in the middle of a Chad Bryant racing sandwich on the racetrack.
Joe Graff has pitted twice already. An adjustment at lap 75, but his teammate, the number 22, had 4 tires in the pit, so he's got an opportunity to make those adjustments on his 2 pit stops. And here we go. You mentioned it might be the final pit stop, Bob. If there's a chance, these teams can still put tires back on they started with. So if there's a puncture or a flat, or if they say, you know what, I don't have what I feel in the car, those right side tires that these teams had only 50-some laps on them. They may put those back on these cars. It's allowed. You don't get those tires put away during the race. They may come back in if they need it.
142 laps complete of 200 here at the Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville. Welcome back to the General Tire Music City 200, presented by Thermal Energy Solutions here at the Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville. Kristian Equis continues to lead. Now just 50 laps to go in this one. I'm Bob Dillner, alongside of me Jim Trado, Dave Reif on pit road. Been having a blast watching the different strategies play out here in the 3rd round of the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge here in 2019.
Bob, we got a great look at the number 15 of Kristian Equis, our leader. Look as he goes through turns 1 and 2. That groove is moving up now. He could go all the way to the bottom line, but he wants to keep that momentum and then square it up. You see the dip right there. In turn number 2, they want to cross that bump. Equis' car is handling beautifully right now in that 15.
Equis told me, even despite missing the race because of an illness at Salem, he said, nothing can keep me down. And you can see that he's got that tenacity here today as he continues to try to save this car and continues to try to open up that lead over Ty Gibbs, which now stands at 1.2 seconds.
Kristian Equis has done a lot of good this year. He was on the pole position at Daytona in his debut there this year because he has it, again, 17-year-old last year was not able to compete on the big tracks in ARCA. Now he's going for the season championship. He led laps there, sat on the pole at Daytona in the truck race the week after. But as you mentioned, Bob, ebbs and flows. He's been down extremely low, missing the Salem race due to illness. Down extremely low last week at Talladega after a crash. It's amazing to see him and the resilience he has, the maturity he's showing, and the people around him saying, you know what, it's not over yet. Let's get this together. This is a huge boost for this young man.
Let's go down to Dave Reid.
Well, we hope to talk about Lexi Gay and her story on the racetrack, but problems with her car. But we documented the fact that this 17-year-old from Canton, Georgia, got her high school diploma walking across driver introductions this morning. But from the Bandoleros at age 12 at Atlanta Motor Speedway, welcome to your first ARCA Menards Series race. Welcome to Nashville. What's been the experience like for you?
You know, it really stinks because we got rained out yesterday, so only had 30 minutes of practice. It was my first time in an ARCA car and the first time on this racetrack Monday. It's been a great experience. I've learned a lot from my teammate, Thad Moffitt. Monday is where I kind of gained the most experience with the team and the car, getting to know the track and everything. Again, with the rain yesterday, we did as much as we could. We were ended up 12th throughout the day yesterday, which put us 12th in the race today since we got rained out with qualifying and everything. Today, we only ran a couple laps. We had some spotter issues, so we were out of the race early. But, you know, you just got to take what you learn from each race to move on to the next one. You got to be back out here watching to see what you can learn.
Remember, she's already won the biggest race. She beat thyroid cancer, so that is good. Good to see Lexi Gay.
Absolutely. Remission just about a month ago or so from that. So Lexi Gay has already fought the fight and won the war on cancer. We appreciate the fact that she was here with us in the ARCA Menards Series at Nashville. Corey Heim continues to climb through the field once again. He is moved by the 38 of Caden Honeycutt. That was for 7th on the racetrack. And, you know, there's so many of these kids coming up through the ranks and competing here in the ARCA Menards Series. Most of them go to school online or are homeschooled. Corey Heim, one of the few that actually still goes to a physical high school.
I agree with that. If you can make it all work, and he and his dad Ray are at the track together, they're making it work. I'm sure his grades have to be there, or he won't get to go to the racetrack, which is another motivator to work your way through to get some laps.
I asked him about that. He said, I'm a B student. Got it up to a B. So Corey Heim definitely improving on the racetrack and also in the educational process as well. Kristian Equis in the 15. Not a big lead over Ty Gibbs. It's getting closer and closer. We'll show you more when we return here to Nashville. Closing in on the end of the General Tire Music City 200 for the ARCA Menards Series here in Nashville, Tennessee. Kristian Equis looking for his first victory of the season. He had a great year last year with 3 victories to his credit, and he continues now to open up the gap between he and Ty Gibbs, who's running 2nd. Running 5th is Brent Holmes, the driver out of Alabama. It's his 22nd birthday here today at Nashville.
So is it Cinco de Bretto today?
I love it. It's Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody watching here live on MAV TV. And we appreciate everybody tuning into all of our races here that make up the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge here in the ARCA Menards Series.
With that body damage, great run by Brent Holmes. I'm just saying this Chevrolet is on rails right now, very comfortably running in the 5th position. It'd be his only top 5 since Toledo last year. So getting back in the groove, working with Shane Hoffman, who brought all 5 of his guys with him to this operation. They are showing progress. They're showing very strong efforts here, overcoming that left side gash in the 23 side of that Chevrolet.
He's a student at Auburn University. Said he has one more final to go, and then he's done with school, can go to the shop in North Carolina where Shane Huffman takes care of all of his equipment. But he, too, is also a very smart guy, getting great grades at Auburn University. Brent Holmes having a stellar run here today, solidly in the top 5.
It was fun to talk with him during the March Madness and seeing how Bruce Pearl and that Auburn basketball team made their way through and how proud he was to be at some of those games as they made their way to the finals in the NCAA championships.
Well, Dave Reid, what do you have in store for us now?
Well, as the laps close down inside of 30, there's one thing you can do. You can always win the race, but have you ever tried playing a trophy? It simply can't be done, but you can play this. This is the guitar that will go to the winner of the Music City 200 today. It's from ESP Guitars, and ESP, you might know them because they created thrash metal, the sounds of Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth. Guys, everybody, we all like, right? But what's really even cool, guys, is that you can actually win one of these as a fan. Go to ARCARacing.com, check out the ESP Rock and Roll Fantasy Challenge. Every week, they give away one of these to that fantasy winner from that particular race with all the drivers' signatures on it. This one about ready to be handed out here in less than 25 laps.
Somebody's going to be strumming a tune in victory lane. Will it be Kristian Equis here today? Venturini Motorsports trying to win here at Nashville for the first time. I'd love to see Dave Reid try to do a few chords as well. We'll be right back. Under 20 laps to go for Kristian Equis, circling this racetrack here at the Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville in the General Tire Music City 200.
We thought things were going great for the 22 team. Bob, he's on pit road here under green.
Trouble for Corey Heim. They're looking in the inside of that cockpit, maybe an ignition issue for the 22, the ARCA Menards Series competitor. Third start in his career. One of those teenagers using ARCA to try to climb to the upper echelons of NASCAR. Kristian Equis, part of the Toyota Driving Development Program. And he has done a darn good job here today, taking the lead from his teammate Chandler Smith, and then he has never looked back. So Corey Heim, it looks like they might have that car restarted down there for the Chad Bryant Racing team, but they have not moved out of their pit stall. The Fast Kids Club machine for Joe Graham Jr. and that onboard look there. Graham climbing up through this field here today. Joe Graham Jr. currently running in the 6th spot. He came in 4th spot in the championship hunt, Dave.
Oh, remember earlier Daytona when Thad Moffitt's window net came down, a safety violation, have to come in. Corey Heim complaining that his seat belts came undone. Nothing wrong with the car, but have to get the window net down, get inside to reattach those seat belts.
Wow. That was interesting for sure for Corey Heim. His teammate, Joe Graham Jr., continues to circle around this racetrack. He's all alone by himself in the 6th spot on the racetrack. Equis leads, Gibbs still in 2nd, Chandler Smith, early race leader in the 3rd spot. Connor Kresick, who was in the top 10 just moments ago, now with that number 14 machine on pit road, changing some tires. He has struggled. There's Travis Brayton. It looks to be that he will be the point leader exiting this race here today at Nashville. Came in 5 points behind Michael Self. Self got in an incident. Travis Brayton currently running in the 8th spot.
It's amazing how these laps click away. Those fresh tires were put on by everybody. 80 laps to go in the race. Now Kresick's car lost the handle. Thad Moffitt also is now going to lap down his number 46 machine. They are throwing tires back into Kresick's car, but I did see, Bob, that he was slower than the torrid pace put on by our race leaders. When Kristian Equis lapped him, he left him. This is an amazing run by Kristian Equis right now.
So this new car for the 27, not exactly where they want it to be, honestly, today. But
turning off the bottom, you see him below the yellow line with that left front, trying to get that car to turn.
Yeah, he's been struggling right there in the center of the corner to on off. Just can't get the car to tight cut right in the center of the corner. Let's go to Dave.
Remember when I started reporting about Corey Heim and the seatbelts? That is the team, the 22 team out of Marietta, Georgia, that just now, guys, got off of pit road. It was a repeating problem. They think they have it done, though, and at least he's back out on the track, but definitely lost 2, 3, maybe even 4 laps.
Corey Heim actually 7 laps down now in the 11th spot, so things go by quickly when you're on pit road, and Corey Heim suffers that fate here today with that Chad Bryant Racing number 22. He had 2 top 5s in the first 2 starts of his career. Not going to get it done here today for the hat trick of top 5 finishes.
Under 10 to go, Bob. This is it. This is go time.
Kristian Equis, smooth sailing for him right now with a 2.6 second advantage over 2nd place running Ty Gibbs. So Gibbs started to close in a little bit in that 18, but take a look at this gap right now. Almost a straightaway advantage from the 15 to the 18 of Ty Gibbs.
And the car right behind him, and that black and red number 20 is for a position. That's Chandler Smith and the number 20 machine now getting pressured on the inside. That's a battle for a podium spot by Caden Honeycutt.
So Chandler Smith right there in 3rd. Going back a little bit further in the field, we look at Ty Gibbs in that 2nd spot. Smith runs in the 3rd spot. 4th is really far back behind the pair of Ty Gibbs and Chandler Smith. Carson Hocevar runs in that 4th spot in the white number 28, so he is way back in the field right now.
You're telling me Honeycutt got lapped already. I even missed that. Holy cow.
Caden Honeycutt was up there coming on strong, but then faded. Corey Heim passed him before Corey Heim had some trouble. Now Honeycutt has faded a little bit in that 38 car, being scored a lap down in 7th.
5 laps to go, the signal from the flag stand. Just the top 6 cars, Bob, are on the lead lap right now. This is an amazing run by Kristian Equis here in the number 15.
Very impressive, and you knew he had some motivation, especially after missing the event at Salem and then having that incident at Talladega to come back. He came back with a vengeance here today and looking very strong. Carson Hocevar holding strong. He was threatening to get into that top 3 earlier, but now currently in the 4th spot.
Yeah, 10 seconds back. He's hoping to hang on here. He's got a lot of work to do in terms of getting the balance, getting this car right for all 200 laps. Great job on the top 5, but I know he wanted to be faster at this point in the race.
Brand new sponsor on that car too, GM Parts now supporting the 2018, and we'll see him as part of the entire Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge this year here on our coverage on MAV TV.
Equis has not turned a wheel wrong. Again, he took the lead over after a restart. 1/3 of the way through it, has yet to be headed, held the lead through pit stops. Last time I saw him this dominant, last year at Lucas Oil Raceway on the short tracks where he led 179 of 200 laps. So when he's good, he's really good.
Coming by this time, it'll be the white flag in the air for Kristian Equis. Only has to hold on one more lap for his first victory of the season.
A great boost for this team. Equis is going to be, he's still not out of the championship hunt. We saw Michael Self in 4 races go from 31st in points to the lead. There's a lot of movement yet to come. 5 points per position. Equis making up a ton today on Michael Self and on Travis Brayton. Brayton's hanging on an 8th, but that's a big points jump for Kristian Equis to get the win here at Nashville.
3 wins last year, scores his first triumph of the season in the ARCA Menards Series. The JBL audio team for Kristian Equis with Venturini Motorsports gets the victory here. He wanted some Nashville magic. He's got it here today.
I love the fact they give away a guitar here each and every victory. That's a trophy that is yet to be in the Venturini trophy case. It is now. Mom, Kathy Venturini,
crying
the
on top of
yeah.
the pit box. Donuts for Kristian Equis. We'll go downstairs to Dave Reif, who's in that pit stall.
Let's first start with Kevin Reid. Kevin, tears of joy, some water being thrown around here. How big was that win?
It's huge. We had a couple of times we should have won here, and it felt like, I told Kristian the other day, I said, I want a guitar. This place means a lot. It means it has a lot of racing tradition, but just even beyond that, the year we've had started off okay. We had to deal with Salem with him being sick, getting wrecked last week at Talladega, and then to come back here today and do this was pretty special.
With all that you've accomplished, who knew a guitar could emote that kind of feeling?
Absolutely.
And right behind him, Big Bill, man, we talked about it. Talladega didn't come through in Talladega. No wins in Nashville for this Venturini Motorsports crew until today.
What did we say before the race? This has got to get a guitar.
Absolutely. And then when Michael Self goes out, I mean, this is a team that had to balance the highs and the lows today.
Yeah, it seems like, every week one of our cars get wrecked from something stupid happening. But, as long as I got 3 in it and we can win, I don't care.
I don't want to get in the way of you and a kiss. I know you got work to be done.
Dave Reif on top of the pit box with Bill Venturini, and there is the tradition here at the Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville. Kristian Equis pulling right in front of the grandstand here at Nashville in front of the fans. He'll climb out victorious here at Nashville. When we come back, Venturini Motorsports finally gets it done at Nashville. They win here at the General Tire Music City 200 at the Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville. First win in the ARCA Menards Series for Venturini Motorsports at Nashville, and redemption for Kristian Equis. Down to Dave Reif.
And a rain shower, Kevin Reid, the first to give this man a big old hug. Grew up in a big, big way today. Getting Kevin not only the guitar, but the guitar for you as well. We talked at the beginning of this day, and now here 100, 200 short laps later. You did it, man. What's it feeling like?
Oh, man, this one's awesome, man. I mean, I thought nothing would top last year's Salem, but man, it's been such a rough 2 weeks and 2 races that this one tops them all. It's great to be in victory lane, and it's, of course, great to be in victory lane with Toyota, JBL, Sirius XM, all my Venturini guys. I mean, this car was on point today. We struggled a little bit in practice, and we made some really good adjustments, and oh, man. But, yeah.
You know what's coming. Hold on. We got to get this documented. The kiss from Big Bill. You've given that man his first Nashville win as well with a storied career. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's huge. I gave him his first at Lucas Oil last year, too, and Man, like I said, it's been such a rough 3 weeks, actually. I got sick at Salem, and, we crashed at Talladega, and, to bounce back like this, it doesn't get any better than this.
That's what you get there. Guitar. Can you maybe play us a little tune?
Congratulations. No, I don't want to embarrass all the guitar enthusiasts about it, so I'm just going to hold it.
Congratulations.
At least he's honest. There's the guitar in victory lane, a tradition here at Nashville for so many years through the All-American 400 and also with the ARCA Menards series. Kristian Equis, the kid out of Middletown, New York, gets it done. First victory of the year, 4th in his career.
18-year-old Kristian Equis winning, 3 16-year-olds filling out the next 3 spots, and Brent Holmes at one of his favorite tracks back in the top 5. Great run by Brent Holmes and that team out of Mooresville and Alabama, where he's from.
Best finish of the year for Brent Holmes. Joe Graf Jr. also solidly in the top 10. Caden Honeycutt hangs in there as well. He lost a lap late. And Travis Brayton will walk out of this race here at Nashville after finishing 8th with the point lead, the overall point lead in the ARCA Menards series.
Yeah, again, the teams that had the momentum knew what adjustments to make. We heard our race winner talk about how good those adjustments were. Corey Heim, unfortunately, with that belt issue, couldn't put up the challenge and had to soldier on to finish 11th.
Michael Self, 15th overall, came in with that point lead, had contact after an incident between Ty Gibbs and Tommy Vi. He was collected in the aftermath of that, and major damage took the 25 out of the race.
What I saw today, a lot of give and take on this short track, but these young drivers, you think they would not have that patience? We saw a lot of patience and professionalism here today at Nashville.
A little celebration, Venturini Motorsports style, here at Nashville today in ARCA.
The ARCA Menards series is...
The General Tire Music City 200 now complete. Kristian Equis wins. Dave Reif now standing by with a kid who has his second place finish of the year in the ARCA Menards series.
That is a fact, Bob. Well documented that this man likes Olive Garden the night before a race. But I guess we can put Peg Leg Porker on the list now of restaurants you'll attend. Your second place finish this year. How's that taste?
Really good. This Mountain Area is awesome. We had a good car today. I think we just lacked a little bit of drive off that kind of hurt us at the end. But it was fun. Then we're going to go back to work and hopefully go get one soon. We were so close. I was driving as hard as I could there at the end, and I'm all worn out right now. So, it's what it is. It's racing.
Caught up in the incident a little bit with Michael Self. Talk us through that just a bit.
I didn't get caught up with him at all. It was the kind of the lapper. We're coming at such fast speeds, and when they pull up in front of you, you got to get around them. And the guy pulled up right in front of me, and when they're supposed to stay low, and I was on the top, and they ran me really high there, and I hit him. But it's kind of hard to do it because we're coming way faster than they are. So, but it is what it is. You got to get around them. So I'm lucky we didn't get involved with it.
How do you know all this stuff at age 16? My goodness.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of stuff in here.
Hey, way to go on a great solid finish. That's the young man, Ty Gibbs.
He's a good kid, Ty Gibbs, 16 years old, and this kid right here, 18 years old. Youth in the ARCA Menards series, definitely prominent here today in Nashville, and what a great training grounds the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge is.
And Ty Gibbs has his second place finish on these short tracks this season. Chandler Smith also has 2 4th-place finishes and another good run here today, Bob.
Chandler Smith in that 3rd spot standing by with Dave Reif.
Well, we talked about the fact that last year was a learning curve. Step on into the frame here. What'd you learn this year that unfortunately didn't add up to a win?
It was just loading up on the right front a little too hard there. So, before we took the first pit stop, we were really, really good. I was riding pretty hard. We were able to maintain. The 15 would close on us, and we'd still just gap them right after we'd get through lap traffic. So, first half of the race was really, really good. Just the second half, it just kind of started falling apart for us a little bit. But we'll get better and go to Toledo for sure.
So what is that like as a driver when you're chasing somebody and you just can't find enough momentum?
Yeah, that last pit stop after we got by the 28, I was just going to ride really hard and wait till about 50 to go and just mow them first 2 guys down. But, we did do that. We ended up catching up to the 18, but once we got to them, about 10 to go, something started happening with the right front. We just lost all the grip in it. So ended up using the right front too hard there towards the end of it, but it was my fault. We should have went a little harder off the start of it right when we got past the 28 and just maintained about 10 car lengths between the 18 and the 15.
Bit of a drag race early between you and Kristian Equis getting off the pits during that first yellow. He was able to do that. Would the outcome have been any different in your opinion had you won that race?
I don't know, to be honest with you. It's hard to say because fresh air and clean air is just really, really critical in any place, to be honest with you. Not many people put that in perspective, but it really is. So it's always something to think about, but you can't really tell, to be completely honest.
You are definitely one of those fresh faces that makes the ARCA Menards series look oh so good. Thank you.
3 races in the ARCA Menards series this year, 3 top 5 finishes for the youngster Chandler Smith. We have a lot coming up here in the ARCA Menards series, but let's take a look at the Lucas Oil race recap. This one was really interesting with Chandler Smith setting the pace early, but then Chandler Smith, his teammate, came on strong. Michael Self, another Venturini Motorsports team, crunched up in turn number 2. He was not happy with Ty Gibbs. Michael Self lost the point lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was not able to get back in the race that we just mentioned about the run to get the lead. Kristian Equis won this battle in that white number 15. Chandler Smith had to follow, just a tap saying, nice run, better run than me for now. And no one could catch Kristian Equis from this point forward.
Equis on a Sunday afternoon drive here in Nashville, Tennessee, made it look easy, taking the checkered flag for the first time this year. Because of that incident with Michael Self, he was the point leader. He's lost that point lead. Travis Brayton is now the point leader, standing by with Dave Reid.
Another consistent finish, maybe not the ultimate finish, the guitar that you wanted, but talk us through this day with that brand new race car.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new car to us. You know, we kind of revamped everything over the winter, and it's our first short track race with the new package that we've been running, and it was a great day for us in comparison to where we were last year at this race, and a lot of the short tracks that we tended to struggle at last year, and just kind of didn't play out. We got tight really early on, and I burned my rear tires off just trying to get up in there and battle with these guys, and the excitement got to me a little bit. So overall, great effort by these guys. I wish we could have got up into the top 5 and stayed there, but proud of this RFMS racing team, our sponsors Matrix Care and Casanas. Everybody's been backing us so hard for the past 2 years.
But I did mention point leader, right? How's that sound?
You did mention that? Somebody just asked me and I wasn't sure. So that's great. I mean, we had a so-so first couple of races, and I think we're really building forward and we're ready to go after it.
Travis Brayton loves the next track we are going to here on the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge for the ARCA Menards Series, Toledo Speedway on May 19th. That place is just flat out awesome.
Looking forward to it. One of my favorite tracks, the unforgiving part of it. No apron, so you better get that car turned on the bottom. That's going to be another classic short track run live here on MAV TV.
Charlotte, North Carolina, just a few days after a midweek show in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, the big triangle up there. They love to call it the Tricky Triangle here in the ARCA Menards Series.
And that is one of 2 visits to Pocono Raceway where you can be 17 and race there at Pocono Raceway. So a lot of guys are gearing up for those opportunities as they hit 17 and older, heading to the Tricky Triangle.
Rained out yesterday here for the ARCA Menards Series at Nashville, but today on a Sunday, Kristian Equis gets the job done and gets the coveted guitar as the winner at Nashville.
You know, Kristian has had 31 races, Bob. It's already his 13th top 5 finish. We mentioned the victories, leading laps, getting this momentum. He's back on the map for the championship hunt.
This is so much fun watching the youth in America. We've seen a lot of them race for broke here today at the Nashville Fairgrounds. It was a fantastic show with all these drivers involved. So for Jim Trado, Dave Reeve, and everybody at Lucas Oil Production Studios, I'm Bob Dillner saying thanks for watching live on MAV TV, the ARCA Menards Series. Congratulations, Kristian Equis.